and busting my ass off to do two things. One, to remodel a home, and then after remodeling it, to fix what, if you saw my home, the painter from hell, my painter caused me so much strife and so much more money. So my remodel took longer than it should have. Um, and then getting the remodel ready and then getting that on the market because that was a long term rental, which I'm now turning into a midterm rental. So I have run into some different things here or there. Then I decided to do a master class and do a program, The Savvy Investress. Um, and that took a lot of my time as well. And between the two of these things, I was literally working from sun up, sometimes not even sun up, but like before the sun rose to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. Y'all, I was literally working harder on these two projects than I have ever worked in a job, ever. And to put that in perspective, y'all, I don't work hard on my jobs. I'm big proponent of working smarter, not harder. So my job as an RN and a nurse practitioner, outside of the first year or so, when you got to be that person, get your feet wet and learn a lot. I don't work hard. I don't work hard. I don't work long hours. And you're not gonna catch me doing no overtime. Good evening, Shauna. You're not gonna catch me doing no extra work. Like I'm just not a hard worker. Like now, the thing that I am is I get everything done above and beyond. So I dot all I's, I cross all T's. So I'm that type of worker. And but I'm not a hard worker. My last job, I literally worked 3 days one week, 4 days the other week, and I was typically home between 1 and 3 every day. So I don't work hard, and I've worked so hard here lately, and things just didn't pan out the way that I expected them to pan out. Just moment of truth. When I do my long term rentals, I can get somebody in a rental in a week, like everything done, signed, sealed, delivered in a week. I do get great return on it. I don't have to do a whole lot of extra work. Very easy. Midterm rentals new for me. It's been about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5, 3. Y'all, I don't know. And I have not gotten anyone in there. And the people that I've gotten are just not of substance. And then I did my master class, and it was just so hard. It was just a lot of work. Like, y'all, when I tell y'all, like, that master class, I hired a coach to do a program for me, and I still had to do a lot of work, like over a month's time. And I don't really feel like my offering, I wanted to do like a 3 month offering. And she said, "Oh, you got to do, you really need to do a year because people want to do a year." And then it was like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess you could do 6 months." But I really felt like I wanted to do a 3 month offering. And that's probably what I should have done. So I don't really feel like that took off as well because of that. And I worked so hard. And then as I sat here and I basically took the last week not to really be bothered with people. And if you know me, you know I'm such a people person. Like I'm calling you, I'm texting you, I'm talking to you, we're talking about different stuff. Like my friends, my mom, my family, they hear from me all the time. Like if you don't hear from me, it's like, that's a little weird. Is she mad at me? What's going on? Because you always hear from me. And I really went mute to everyone. And I really felt like I had failed. I really felt like I was a failure. I'm like, I have worked my ass off for the last couple of months. I never work my ass off when I work at work, and I make six figures. So here I have my own stuff. I'm working my ass off, and I'm not making nearly like much anything, right? Hey, Brown and Beachy. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? I jumped on this bandwagon of quit your job and live a free life. But y'all, my job wasn't that bad. It's certain things that happen in your life that make you say, maybe that shit wasn't that bad. Do I want to get back up and start going to see patients? No, not necessarily. But y'all, I worked salary 3 days one week, 4 days the next week, and I was always home by 3. I had no work at home. I had no work before work. I went home, I cooked, I watched, I got on Facebook, and that was the day. I did not, when on my 3 days, I ain't work Monday, I didn't work Friday. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday one week. The next week, I couldn't even work 4 days straight, y'all. That's how much I can't work. I would work Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that was full time. So as I think about the last 2 months of my life and how I have bust my ass on my own projects, I begin to wonder, whose damn dream is this? Hey, Miss LGC, whose dream is this? Like, who the hell told me that having your own business was living a free life and fun, and you were going to be sipping cocktails all day, and you were going to be swimming in the pool and all of these different things? But what I realized is that I deviated from my dream. So that's the gotcha. So Miss LGC, when you said, do you enjoy the work? I deviated. I began to listen to people that basically told me to follow the money. And although that was not their exact words, that was their words. And the thing is, when you follow the money and you don't enjoy it, then you don't want to do it anymore. Then it really becomes work. And during this last week of me going silent and me not really speaking to my friends and my family, and I feel like just going through a cleanse. Because, on the things that I'm like, oh gosh, I really failed at this. People wanted to give me advice. And I had to tell them, I don't want any advice. I don't think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. There are parts that are me doing what I'm supposed to do. Investing in real estate, buying property, running properties, that's me all day. That's what I've always wanted to do since I was 18, 19. But creating programs where I have to be present all the time, I don't like to be present all the time. I like stuff that turns off. Like, outside of sending some messages, I don't really care to talk all the time. Outside of having some appointments, I don't really care to be bogged down. I made this pact, so to speak, with myself a couple of years ago that when I took my son to Africa, whenever that happened, I would not work for a company. And the reason was for a couple of things. One of the obvious, when you are traveling to different countries, not when you go to one and you're going to stay there for months, but when you're traveling for different companies, not countries, when you're traveling to different countries, internet changes. Internet can be good in one, bad in the other. It can be good uptown, bad downtown. And for me, as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, seeing patients, you don't want to talk to me and say something serious. And I'm like, huh, what you say? Can you say that again? Can you repeat that? And me, with my own personal ethics, I don't like that. So that's one reason. The other reason was that the whole purpose in me leaving the country to travel the world was more than just seeing the world. My son is 11. He'll be 12 in October, the end of October. And when he was diagnosed at 7, there was about 200 people in the world with his disorder. Today, there are 500 in the world. He's the only person with his mutation, so no one can tell me what his life will look like. However, they do say that the kids get worse as life goes on. And I had noticed when he was 7 that the children that I saw, when they reached puberty, they would start to decline around age 12. So it was very important to me that I took him to different places by age 12. That was a magic number for me. That's the number where I felt like all doom, gloom, and hell would probably break out. So as we approach that number in the next 2 months, I'm reminded why I set out on this journey, why I started any of this. I never started my YouTube channel to go viral or anything like that. I started it so that he could watch it when he got older if he wasn't able to travel the world anymore. The rest just kind of came along. And it started to come so fast that I was trying to catch up. And in doing so, in grasping the parts that came so quickly, I think that I began to develop a dream that wasn't even mine, if that makes sense. Because, like you said, my true dream was to be present with him. And my method of doing that with real estate investing being passive, that was why I did that. But in doing so, I began to start doing all these other things that could generate income, but not necessarily more than, honestly, my real estate investing. I mean, I make very good money doing very little. So as I started to really think about things in the last week and realize, no, you don't need to fix anything. I went into, deep meditation, and I realized I received the word pivot. You need to pivot. Okay. So now I need to figure out what pivot means for me. And I believe that means I need to pivot back to my goals. back to my original goals and my original dreams, not the ones that could maybe should bring me additional income but require more of me, but the ones that I initially wanted, which were passive. Like Brown and Beachy said, passive income is the way to go. I mean, does that mean I'm going to quit everything? No. But I'm going to put things into perspective. And I think sometimes we have to step back and do that. You know, sometimes a failure isn't really a failure, it's more of a wake up call, because I feel like that's more so what I got. I got a wake up call because instead of working on these classes and courses, I really need to be doing my stuff for my midterm rental. There's some things that I need to be doing on the front end to make it passive on the back end. But since I have my hands in all of these different pots, I can't focus on what I need to focus on. I need to focus on things that require self study that I can do whenever. You know, I can do it on a plane, I can do it in any country. And, you know, all I need is some internet access. I don't have to have, you know, the best streaming, the fastest speeds at that time. But I do need to pivot, you know, and it, you know, it's interesting because there are times where we can get caught up in the glitz and glamour of things. There are times where we can get caught up in doing what we think we should do or what they think we should do instead of doing what we genuinely want to do or know we probably should be doing. Everybody doesn't have the same dream. Everybody's dream looks a little bit different because we're all very different people. You know, it may fall under the same theme, but it's not the same. How mine looks for me is different than how yours looks for you. You know, it's funny I have a real estate group, Facebook group, and I do Mindset Monday, Manifestation Monday. And I posted today, you know, what are you manifesting? You know, because I feel like, you know, you speak it out loud. You speak some of that out loud so that the universe or whomever can hear you. And one young lady said, you know, doing well on her test. And I was like, hey, you're in school? And she was like, yeah, I'm in cybersecurity. And I would have never thought that. I don't know why I would have never thought that. But, you know, a lot of us are people that want to travel or who want to invest in, you know, of course, everybody has that common goal of investing in real estate in that group. And it was just so cool to hear that, you know, she was getting her certification or degree or whatever have you in cybersecurity. I actually have a close friend that's in cybersecurity. So I know that it is a very, very lucrative field. But I was like, that's so cool how everybody is just doing their own thing in a world where you see so many people that want to be like one another, so many people that want to receive likes and, you know, all of these different things from others. So they conform to what the mold is. But then you see people that's really just doing their own thing. You know, it's like, yeah, I know these people, they're doing this. You know, you know, in our world, we see a lot of people that's like, okay, I want to do all of this house sitting. Well, y'all, I did house sitting, and guess what? I don't think I love animals that much. I like animals. I can hang out with some animals, but I don't think I love animals enough to live with them for months at a time. I don't know. I mean, I even think about, I don't like people being at other people's house like that I don't know. I mean, I guess if they were really, 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 really nice houses with pools and stuff. But I just find that I'm just very funny acting when it comes to stuff like that. So, you know, it's like in a world where everybody finds one thing that they're all doing and they're all doing it the same. It was kind of refreshing to see that she was going in, that she does cybersecurity or going into. I know they have a lot of certifications, so she may already be in the field and she's just getting another certification. So I just thought it was really cool to see that in a room where everybody's a coach and everybody is you know what I mean, everybody is teaching English as a second language. It was just really like, when I see um especially women in fields like that, it's just like, wow, that's amazing, like kudos to you. um and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Shauna said, I don't know if I want to be around them every day. Yeah, you have to chart your own path. It's I these I sometimes have to step back and say, these are just ideas. I don't have to follow these ideas. I don't have to follow what people may think I should do. I don't have to follow what I don't even have to follow what I said I was going to do. Let's just be very honest. Even if I said I was going to do it, I can decide I don't want to do it, and I can completely pivot from that. I can just do the parts of it that I want to do. I don't have to do all of it. Life is not an all or none. You can pick and choose the pieces that fit you, and you can just get rid of the rest. And you can do that without feeling guilty, or without feeling like you failed, or without feeling like, this just didn't go the way it was supposed to go, so I should do something different. And I don't know if this is something that you all experience, but I think for me, failure is such a it's like the end of the world type of turn. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I failed at this. It's like, man, how I wasn't supposed to fail at this. Like, this was supposed to be it. Like, I'm leaving next month. I don't have time for failure. Like, I ain't got no time left. Like, I literally have a flight, I have an Airbnb, and I have a lot of non-refundable items. So I don't have time for failure. But failure don't have a time clock. So whatever time you discussed, no. Mm-mm. And I had to sit with that for a while. I had to sit with that by myself. And there was nothing anyone could tell me to make me feel like I did not fail. But I didn't. I didn't actually fail, because I was told to pivot. What I was taking on was not something that I needed to take on. It did not align with my true goals. It didn't align with what I really wanted to do. And because it did not align, no matter, I was going to keep going full throttle. I wasn't going to stop. I was going to go ahead and do it. And then I was going to have to make courses and do all of this research and do all of these different things to get ready for the next one and the next one and the next one, because I had developed a 6-month program. So I had to be prepared for that. And the only people that were going to suffer were me and my son, because I wasn't going to have the time to devote to our journey the way that I needed to. So it really wasn't a failure. It was a wake up call. This was not even your idea, Charisma. This not even what you set out to do. How do you fail at something that you didn't even want to do? You wanted passive. You wanted time. You wanted freedom. And yet you allowed the outside to talk you into doing some things that you didn't necessarily want to do. And in doing those, there were some other things that coincided with all of this that made me feel very resentful, made me feel like I'm giving my ass off and people are taking, and they not even giving me a thank you. And these are people that are close to me. I'm giving, I'm teaching, I'm all for nothing. Zero. I can't get, I mean, I can't. Can I get a letter? Can you write an email to say how I helped you? It was just kind of like, y'all sucking up all my information, all my time, all of this different stuff. What am I doing? So, in addition to feeling like I failed, I felt used in a sense. I felt used. And It's something that I tell my clients, and my therapist has told me about extending. When you extend yourself further than you want to, and people don't extend gratitude back to you, you kind of only have yourself to blame because you overstepped your own boundaries. So even though I was feeling resentful, it wasn't really their fault because I overstepped my boundaries. Instead of drawing a line in the sand and saying, hey, I don't discuss business and personal. If you want to do business, let's make an appointment for business. Otherwise, let's sit here, enjoy lunch, and just talk about random stuff. But instead, even though there was something in me that said, yeah, that's what you should say, I allowed myself to be uncomfortable and overstep my boundaries and then became upset when they did not return the gratitude to me. Well, that's not their fault. They did their part. They got what they came for. I'm the only person that left feeling empty and used. And that probably wasn't even their intention to make me feel that way. But because I didn't draw my line in the sand and listen to my boundaries and listen to myself and say what needed to be said, that's the way that I felt afterwards. But it all goes back to whose dream are you aiming for? See, because if this was still my ministry, I probably wouldn't have felt as betrayed. I probably wouldn't have had those feelings. So that surrounding the feeling of failure says that, girl, maybe that's not your ministry. Maybe you need to back up into the lane that you actually wanted to be in. Yeah, this lane may be a bit more lucrative. This lane may come with more dollar signs. This lane may do da 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 da. But do you even want to be here? Because if you don't want to be here, why are you here? Because let's just be honest, you go back to a job, make way more money, do way less work. So why are you here? Yeah. They weren't, but it wasn't, I don't think it came from a place of negativity. They did for them what they needed to do for them. I didn't do for me what I needed to do for me. You can't continue to put other people's feelings before your own. And as a person that is a caregiver from the very beginning. I would even go so far as saying codependent type of personality. Most people that are caregivers are very much codependent. Whether you want to realize that or not, I promise you, pick up a book about codependency and you will find that most caregivers, 9 out of 10, 98% of y'all are codependent. It is a codependency. And it's a codependency on a different side. It's that codependency where you need people to need you. So those people, you need people to say, hey, I need your help with this, or hey, I need you here, or hey, I need this, or I need that. But what develops out of this unhealthy codependent type of relationship is a lot of hurt feelings because you are so in tune. How do I say this? Because fulfilling those things for someone else is so important to you. When they then don't return the gratitude or the thankfulness or whatever that may be that you want them to return, then you in turn feel hurt, you feel disappointment, you feel resentment, you feel anger. That's codependency 101. But see, we don't know codependency in those ways. We know codependency as the person that needs, gimme, 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 I want. Well, y'all, is code. It's two people. So somebody is over there like, gimme, 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 I want everything. Give it all to me. I want this, that, and the other. It's got to be somebody on the other side. Like, here you go. Here's this. Here's that. Here's this. Wait, I got this. Hold up. Let me grab this bag. Right. And you're giving to the point that you ain't got nothing else left to give. And the person that's on the other side of that relationship has already taken. So they gravy, they good. Yeah, they're doing amazing. Yep. And then what happens is you give until you have nothing left. Absolutely. You give to the point of anger. You give to the point of depression. You give to the point of anxiety. You give so much that you have now caused yourself psychological harm. And they over there and they good because they got everything they came for. The people on that side of the codependent relationship, they're always great. The people on this side of the codependent relationship, yeah, we end up empty. Yep. So that's the thing. Like Shauna said, you didn't do you. I didn't do me. I didn't require a certain level. I didn't set expectations. But then I got upset when people didn't meet those imaginary expectations that they had no idea about. Right. So we need to start figuring out what it is that we really want to do. You know, I sat down with my dad and I said, I'm just really having a hard time. And he already knew. He's an entrepreneur of everything. I swear to man. He does everything. And he said, you're doing too much. He was like, you're doing too much. You need to back down. You need to back off a couple of these things. You need to do what is going to help you achieve what it is that you set out for. He was like, you're doing way too much to have a child that's going to have surgery soon. Why are you taking on new projects? But that's that overachiever in me. That's that codependency. That, okay, I can do this and I know how to do it well, so why wouldn't I do it? Well, because it's going to take more time. And even though you can do it well and you can do it great, doesn't mean that you got the time to do it. This isn't what you were supposed to be doing. It's not what you set out to do. This is not what you said you're going to be doing during this time. You did not say, hey, I'm going to leave one job and pick up another one. Oops. My bad. I kind of did. I picked up a whole other job. But that's not what I set out to do. So when I went into silence and I went into meditation and I received the answer pivot, I had to sit on that. I still had to sit on that. I was like, damn, I can't get nothing else. That's all you gonna give me? You ain't got no more words? You're just gonna give me one word? I can't get an explanation. Can I get a card? Can I get You ain't got nothing else? Just pivot where? Which way am I going? Am I going north? Am I going south? What exactly am I supposed to be pivoting? Which of these things do you want me to pivot? Like, all right, I thought the universe, y'all supposed to just drop some knowledge. I'm supposed to pick up this book and be like, charisma, here is your lesson. Number 1. And it just kind of writes away as I'm reading. It was like, nope, pivot. Okay. All righty. I got it. So then I sat with that as well. Because sometimes you just got to meditate, pray, chant, whatever you need to do, and just sit with it. You know, as soon as you receive it, you're not necessarily supposed to act on it. You need to sit with it. You sit with it and then you let it guide you. I went to, so I told you it's about 500 people with my son's disorder now. And I met up with 2 of them at the park this weekend, and we got the kids together. And the 2 ladies, their kids were younger than Cam. So Cam's about to be 12, and they're little itty bitty, maybe like 4 or 5, maybe not even 5. And, they just started asking me questions, and they're like, so you travel, but one of the husbands said, well, you travel, but it seems like you don't travel with a plan. And I thought that was funny. And I said to him, I used to travel with a plan. Very, very type A personality. I used to have a plan from when we were going to get up, get dressed, the things we were going to do every day, the places we were going to go, when we were going to leave, when we were going to catch that plane, get to the next location, how long we were going to stay there, what we were going to do, when we were going to leave there, when we were going to catch that next plane and go to the next one, and da 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 da. Yeah, that did not work at all. Nope. First of all, y'all, I wasted so much money planning every single part. Because guess what? Shit happens and it doesn't go right. It doesn't go well. And in these international waters, you're not getting your money back for those plane tickets. So you don't get on that plane. Oh, well. You don't get on that Airbnb. Oh, you don't make it there. If you make it there 3 nights late, oh, well. I guess you could file a claim, but there is a cap to your claims, right? And some claims just I don't know if they all worth filing for. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But I learned, it didn't take me long. I don't like losing money. It didn't take me long to learn that everything in this life, everything on this journey cannot be planned. Sometimes you have a fluid plan. You have it's very fluid. So I told him I plan, but not the way people would expect me to plan. I plan a month ahead at a time. People will ask me, "Oh, what's your plans? Where are you going? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Y'all can just follow me on YouTube. I'm going to a few countries." And I think they think I'm being rude, but I'm being so very serious. I'm like, I don't have a plan like you would expect me to have a plan, because plans change. Stuff happens. And it's a whole lot harder to pivot. There goes pivot again. It's a whole lot harder to pivot when you have all of these plans that follow it, because it's just like a game of dominoes. Once one falls down, they all follow. And now you stressing yourself out. So I just decided I'm not doing all that planning. I plan a month at a time, a month ahead. Y'all, I planned for my month in Kigali, Rwanda. I ain't did nothing else after that month. I don't have nothing planned, not a flight, not a place to live, nothing. Once we get to Rwanda, then I'll decide the next step. Because and people are like, what if they don't have any places? Y'all, I ain't never been to a country where there was no nice places for me to stay unless it's during Christmas. Whew, learn that lesson the hard way. Maybe I should plan for Christmas. So yep. So if I am not planning my travels but a month at a time, why am I planning everything else and wondering why it's going sideways? Doesn't that negate my whole life of freedom right now? Why are we trying to plan every single part of our lives? Why are we trying to fit whatever lifestyle people said we should have and however it should look in this bubble? My lifestyle doesn't have to look anything like yours, and yours doesn't have to look anything like mine, and we can still be very, very happy for one another. It's just really, I don't know, it just really, like I said, it just really hit home for me. It really hit home for me. Miss LGC said, "You are very self aware. That's good. Allows you to course correct and learn the lesson." Yeah, I guess that's the case. Now, 3 days ago, I wouldn't have agreed with you. 3 days ago, I would have been like, I don't want to hear that. 3 days ago, girl, I would have been like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't want to hear that. That that does not sound like me. All I know is this is getting on my nerves and things aren't going right. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that would have been me 3 days ago. But today I'm like, okay, I can see that. But sometimes we have to sit with our own stuff and we have to wait for answers. And that is why when I did talk to some of my friends, I told them, no, I don't want any help. Oh, you could do this or you could do that. No, no, no. Because that's not what it was about. What it was about was that I wasn't supposed to be doing that at all, because that was never part of my master plan. I may not plan every detail, but I have a master plan. My master plan is to take my son and travel the world. That's my master plan. And everything that I do should fall neatly under that master plan. It should not cause it to deviate. So if I had told myself, hey, Charisma, when you leave this world, not this world, when you leave this country, It is like a whole other world over here. Uh, when you leave this country, you are not supposed to take a job with you. You should only you're doing your investment incomes that are passive. That's what you're doing. Why would I think that I should do anything else? Why would I think the goals that I made for me 2 years ago that I've kept up to this point are different, have now changed? No, they haven't. So guess what? We're going to go back there. We're going to go back where we started. And we're going to look at that all over again. We're going to stop. We're going to rewind. And we're going to ask ourselves, how did we get here? What is it? Where were we planning to go? Is this where I was planning to go? Is this where I needed to be? Did I skip a step? Did I overlook a step? Yep. Explain that to me, Shauna. I always wondered why that wasn't enough for you too. Explain that to me. Because I don't know what you mean. I think I may know what you mean. I'm gonna let you comment and let me know what you mean by that. So I gotta go back and I gotta look. Well, I've gone back and I've looked. Actually, I don't even have to go back and look because we kind of already know what our goals are. We already know what our expectations for ourselves are. Um, where to next? Physically, mentally, spiritually. You got to answer that part for me, Brown and Beachy. I always said if I could invest in real estate to allow funds for travel, that would be enough for me. I think that's my type A personality that I've been struggling with for years, but that's also that codependency that I talked about. Um, and always needing to do something, always needing to do more. Um, always just kind of going higher and higher and saying, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Why not do this? Why not do that? Oh, that sounds good. Oh, what about that? So I don't know. Maybe it's that shiny penny syndrome as well. But I'm always doing something. You know, I find it so by not doing a lot, by not doing some of these things, I am going to have free time when I get to Rwanda, Brown and Beachy. That's where I'm going next. And Rhonda, as I know it from what I've read, because I'm primarily going there to finish out my land. That's why I'm primarily going to Rwanda. I got to go take care of business first. But there's not a lot to do there. It seems to be a pretty quiet place, very serene and relaxing. I was talking to my friend and I was like, I was looking this place up. Doesn't really seem to be much to do there. I'm sure we'll be there for about 3 to 4 weeks. But maybe I need a place where it's not a whole lot to do there. So it's not a whole lot to do. And I don't have anything to do. I have no courses to create. I'll do my one-on-one coaching because I enjoy doing my one-on-one coaching. But I mean, other than doing like YouTube videos showing where we're going, which really doesn't require a lot, I'm not going to have anything to do. That's a little scary for me. We're taught to always be doing something. Yeah, I can remember when I had my son and I was on leave. I started cooking. I didn't have anything else to do. So I just started cooking. I would cook all kinds of stuff. There were all kinds of meals, all kinds of new recipes. I didn't even buy him baby food. I would go to the farmer's market. I would buy the fruits and vegetables and I would grind, put it in the blender, strain it. Even with my daughter, I don't think I bought her baby food either. I would let her eat some stuff, but I wouldn't let her eat the meat because I feel like the meat looked funny and smelled funny. But I would just find stuff to do, and that had become my new hobby. I had become an official housewife while I was on leave because I needed something to do. So I started hanging out with the mommy and me group. I would cook all kinds of different meals. Y'all, I was in here making sesame chicken in a crock pot. I just, with the glaze and everything, y'all, I don't know. I needed to do something. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. It's just like, if I'm not doing something, what am I doing? And it's funny because even in Mexico, I remember when we were looking for somewhere to stay in Mexico, I had a nanny. And at the time we were in Mexico City and we were staying in what's that popular area in Mexico City? It's near Rosa Norte. Um Starts with a C, I believe. Anyway, we were staying there, right? And she said, "Hey, I have this apartment that you can rent. It's a whole lot cheaper than here, and it's a nicer apartment. Of course, when you stay in the middle of the city, the apartments are more expensive, but they're not as nice as they could be." So she said, "But it's further away." But she was like, "But you work every day anyway, so I could take Cam out and we can go do things. So it really wouldn't matter for you because you only come out like twice a week." And that stayed with me because I was like, here I am on vacation in Mexico City, and the nanny's view of me is that all I do is work. That's bad. And at the time, I was doing my real estate boot camp. Um, and I was creating courses and content. And I was like, that's really bad. That's really bad. All she does is think that all I do is work. And I guess all I was doing was working. So I couldn't even be mad at her because she wasn't wrong. Still, was. All I did was work. But that really shouldn't be who you are, especially when we leave here. There should be time where we're just focusing on ourselves. But I'm so used to doing that I don't know how comfortable I am with just sitting and being. And I think that is the lesson that I needed to learn here. Um, so what I saw as failure was really just an eye opener. It's really just an eye opener on what I needed to focus in on. Yeah. You said work isn't a bad word for me. If you are fulfilled, that is what matters. No one can define your fulfillment. That's true. But I think it was that I was working so much that it was taken away from what I had actually set out to do. Because I had not set out to work in Mexico City. That was not what I was supposed to be doing. That was another one of those things that just came along. And, one thing led to another, and there was a new course. So, yeah. And there are a lot of things that have happened to me to slow me down from working. Like the accident I got in Mexico, that definitely slowed me down. I ain't worked for about 4 months. I think people may have been mad at me because they were like, "You're not doing another live course." No, no, I am doing me right now. I need to heal and I need to get better. And that was hard for me to say. It was very difficult. It wasn't, y'all, I tried. Even after the accident, y'all, I still worked for like 2 weeks. It was my manager that was like, "Yeah, I don't think you should be working." Like the fact that you're probably high on payment. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was my manager that was like, "Yeah, no, I think you need to take some time off." But it was the problem with disappointing others. I don't want to disappoint others because I said I would be there for them, right? I said I would do this. I said that I would give them this information. I would help them through this because these people are depending on me, right? Well, no, because if it's not me, there's always somebody else they can go to. But I can't jump into another body if I stress this one out, if I overwork this one. My kids don't get another mom if I work myself into the ground and I'm not here for them. Right. Because I learned long ago that your job definitely feels like you're replaceable. They'll replace you in a heartbeat. They will replace you in a heartbeat. But your family, they don't feel like you're replaceable. You're not replaceable. They will never fill that void. So it is important that it's important that you focus on what your goals and your dreams are. It's important that you question that failure that you had. What are you supposed to learn from that? There's something there. And maybe your answer is not pivot. That's my answer, but that may not be your answer. Yours may be regroup. There are many, many people that had to try and try again before their product made it out there. But when it did, oh, it was magical. So just because mine is pivot, you need to find out what yours is. What is your lesson from this? There is a lesson. Is this what you really want to do? If this is really what you want to do, you need to regroup. You need to regroup and you need to figure out what you need to do differently, what you need to increase, decrease, expand, deflate. Because if it's your dream, see, because I didn't tell y'all that I was dropping my investing, I'm actually going to increase my investing because that is my dream. I am actually going to, when I talk to my dad, I'm going to start investing in other things as well. So that part, oh, that part I'm doing. That part I will study. That part won't take all day. That can be done while we on this 12-hour or whatever it is plane ride. That part won't change. Having my courses that's already out there doing coaching, that won't change. But giving way too much of me, that will change. Setting boundaries, that will change. Saying no. Someone told me no is a complete word. It's such a hard word, isn't it? Isn't it such a hard word? only two letters. But y'all know can be hard when it comes to certain people. And y'all, with certain people, you could say no, and y'all may never hear from them again. They like a fly in the night. You say no to them, y'all, they will ghost you so quickly. But you know what? Thank you. Because I probably would have just kept giving more of myself to you without realizing that you weren't worthy of me. Because if I tell you no and you walk away, then you didn't actually care about me to begin with. It was all about you. Because if I love you deeply and if I care about you and you tell me no, then you just told me no. We move forward. So set those boundaries. I'm setting mine. I already started. I already said what I had to say to some people. But you know what? The ones that care about me, when I set those, they were like, oh, okay, that's cool. I can do that. Yep. Yep. They were just like, oh, that's it? Oh, okay, girl, I got you. What? Do you know how long I practiced in the mirror on this? Do you know how long I sat here and said, okay, you're going to say it this way. Okay, no, practice it this way. No, you're going to say it that way. No, say it this way. You know how you just keep going over it? Is that just me? You just go over things in your head, the different ways to say it. And then when you finally say it, it never comes out. How you practice saying it in the first place. So you don't even know why you bothered to practice. Because when you finally say it, you're like, who the hell is that talking? Like, I'm like, girl, who are you? We didn't say that. That is not what we practice. And at that point, it's just, yes, the rehearsal. Girl, I'm like, we didn't talk about that. That is not the way. We were not supposed to say that part like that. No, that part wasn't supposed to be high. That was supposed to be low. And I mean, and then it is what it is. Because it came out how it came out. And they took it how they took it. And you did the best that you could. Yep. But those that are for you, no matter how it came out, will still be for you. They may check you on it, be like, girl, you know, when you said, that's cool. But they'll still be there for you. They'll still be in your corner and they'll understand. And not only will they understand, they'll respect you for it. And you would have set a boundary. So, yeah. So, when you all said it's right on time, it makes me glad that I share. But I do want you to also make sure you focus on you and find out what it is that you need in this time. We don't spend enough time focusing on us and what we need. We spend so much time taking care of others and we leave ourselves to last when we're completely depleted and have nothing else left to give. But this is not the season for depletion. Ooh, I like that. It's not. This is the time that you continue to elevate and raise beyond your present self. Learn from the failure. Learn what it is that you need to know. Maybe that failure just means just not right now. For me, it may just not be right now. Maybe in a year. Just not right now. Because right now, there are more pressing issues in my life. There are things that are a lot more important. There are things that take precedent. And those are the things I'm going to focus on. Those are the things that I want from life. In 6 months, in a year or two, who knows? That may be something that I want to revisit. Maybe something you want to revisit. But right now, take the time to learn. All of these things are opportunities to broaden who we are, to stretch us and shape us. Because despite what we feel like we failed in, we've succeeded in so much more. There is so much success. I was speaking with someone yesterday and I had to tell them, focus on the things that you've accomplished. Focus on the positive, the gratitude, because there's so much that you should have to celebrate. Why are we focusing on just the negative part of it? And I feel like as I told them that, I was talking to myself as well. Why are we only focusing on this side of it? Why are we not focusing on everything else? So much has been accomplished. You can use all of these same tools to do this again. You've accomplished so much. You've gotten so far. One of my friends, she said, the only way to fail is to actually try. So no matter how many times you fail at something, you actually tried. Yeah. And imagine how many people didn't. Imagine how many people thought about it but couldn't. They couldn't even start. They can't get to the point of failing because they can't even start. You can't fail if you never start. I do have a strong why. I do. One of my first videos I ever put out was about my why. And it was about my kids, my son and my daughter. My daughter, she's grown now. She's about to be 21, so she don't like going with us. But she working and doing her own thing, honey. She's like, no. Um, she went with us a little bit, and then she was like, no. So yeah, but I do. I think my why, I think your why is always very important when you're doing things. Your why is what keeps you going, even when everything else seems to be crashing and burning. And if your why is not strong enough, you'll exit. You won't continue. Um, so it really depends on that why. I think like everything I do is surrounded around that why until I get off a track a little bit. And like I said, it's not to say these things I won't come back to at some point, but right now is not it. Right now, I need to focus on preparing to leave. Y'all, I discovered Temu a little while back, so my clothes will probably come from Temu, but whatever. I can't do Shein no more because the threads mess up on the clothes. So or they get stained. So I had to throw those away. Temu and Ross. I ordered some more packing cubes. And I'm just really like, okay, I can get a little excited. Airbnb said I'm my thing is in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I will step onto the motherland for the first time in my life. My Airbnb lady host, she has arranged my transportation. So I just need to reach out to my transportation person. Things are happening. Things are happening for you the same way they're happening for me. So we're going to look at that failure a little bit different. We're going to look at it a little different. We're not going to look at it as a failure. We're going to look at it as an opportunity. For me, it's the opportunity to pivot. For you, but you have to tell me what is an opportunity for you to do. You have to take some time to figure that one out. But I know it's going to be pretty wonderful. It's going to be beautiful. And when you do what it is that you really set out to do, everyone's going to notice. And I think that's what it all comes down to. So I thank y'all for listening to me on my little rant tonight. I don't know, is it a rant or I don't know, whatever these things are that I do randomly when I get on here and I start talking. And I have nothing. I have no notes, y'all. I don't do notes. I just have blank pages of nothing. And I just say what comes to my mind. Yeah, I don't do notes. I remember when I first started doing my channel, Stephanie was my coach, and she was like, Charisma, you need to plan out your content. You should have notes. And I was like, notes? She was like, yes. I was like, notes. Plan out my content calendar. That's what I'm supposed to do. I never really did very good at that. I'm a very bad YouTuber. So, but I thank y'all for being present for me. And I hope that you learned a lot. I hope it was helpful. Brown and Beachy said, perspective really is everything. I work hard, but work for me is a hobby. I change my old hobbies into my life's work and change my job into a hobby. Perspective. Yeah, I can see that. I changed my hobby into work, but that didn't work for me. My hobby was invested in real estate, but then I get too deep and it just becomes too much and it just takes over. It takes on a mind of its own. So I still got to pull myself back. So, but I hope y'all have an amazing night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And I wish you well. And blessings in your journey. Feel free to tell me about it. Tell me how it goes on here, or you can hit me up on IG or Facebook. Charisma Cares or Charisma _ Cares, something like that. I guess I'll add it into the notes. I didn't do any notes, but let me know how that goes, okay? All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Ciao.